He said, do that. Second. Then. Okay.
My turn.
Okay. Okay. That water. Keep on going. Next. Okay.
Welcome back to the channel. It's early and it's cold, but I thought I would hurry and give you a couple of thoughts of what's on my mind. I want to, in this video, introduce you just briefly to the homestead. We haven't really talked about too much of the animals that are on here, and we're going to be doing some in-depth videos about that. But first, I really wanted to download what's on my head regarding all the conflicts in the world, because if you're paying attention, we are at a crisis right now that we have not seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis. And the crazy thing, even with all of our Wi-Fi, even with all of our access to information, I think that we know far less than we did during that crisis. It doesn't make sense. We have more capacity to know, and through a combination of being asleep and a combination of things just not being covered, I think we are being dumbed down, to say it nicely. Anyway, imagine this analogy. It's the only way I can describe it. If you were, let's say the old Splash over here. Can you see little moo cow? I'm not very good at videoing. Hey, Splash. Splash is our miniature Jersey. She doesn't look like a Jersey, but she is. She's got the genetics of a Jersey. Splash is actually pregnant. She's going to be having a baby here in about a month and a half, and I'm really excited for that. So her baby will be brown with the eyebrows, you know, and the markings around her lips, just like a Disney cow, and just stunning. And they're worth a lot of money because they're Jersey, but they're also miniature Jerseys, so they eat quite a bit less and still produce a ton of milk. Like, we'll talk about that. Okay, but I just want to imagine this. Imagine I went inside this little corral, and imagine that Splash wasn't the most docile, nice cow ever. Imagine it was a bull with some pretty sharp horns. Okay? If I went over and I slapped that bull across the head, what do you think would happen? Even if I was right here and it was a mean enough bull and I threw something at it, what do you think would happen? That bull, I mean, have you ever seen at rodeos? They come and they charge. They have those huge old fences, and sometimes those bulls, when they're tightened up enough, they'll come and they'll charge a fence, they'll charge a crowd, they'll charge a rodeo clown. What do you think's going on over with Russia? You know, a couple weeks ago, I was just looking at the headlines thinking, what is going on? Because everyone was just like so grandiose about, wow, we've got Putin up against the river, you know? And so we've always known that his ground game was going to be awful. I mean, no one brags about the ground setup, the troop setup that Putin has in Ukraine. And so I'm not taking sides here, guys. Don't get me wrong. I think we've got corruption all around here, okay? This is not a sympathetic Putin video whatsoever. But everyone's thinking, oh, we've got Putin against the river. You know, he's on retreat. I'm like, okay. Well, that's just like me coming in here and slapping Splash. Because what happens when you push someone up in a corner? Well, if they've got any strength or any radical notion that can come out in them, that's when it's going to come out. That bull's going to leave me alone until I come and push it. Right? So, first of all, why we celebrate? And then second of all, you know, we had all of these elite leaders, again, that they flew over in their private jets and then they immediately scurry off to their secret dark chambers. And then immediately one of the first things that came out of Davos is Davos, tell me how you say it. I don't know, don't really care, but anyway, Switzerland, right? So they're all meeting over there. So one of the first things that came out of that meeting was, hey, we should let these other nations join NATO. And they were even saying, hey, we should let Ukraine join NATO. And maybe they should, but is now the time. The bull has been poked, and the bull is running toward the fence. Just a reminder that Russia has a larger nuclear arsenal than we do. You know, there are some rumors that they have a warship entering American waters, which probably is neither here nor there because, I mean, where's their subs? I don't think we know. What's the Poseidon missile? Sounds scary. It's a nuclear torpedo that can create a nuclear tsunami. That's the bull that we're poking. Is that wise? I don't know. You tell me. To me, it seems like we need less rhetoric, not more. I think that this is nothing more, nothing less than the Cuban Missile Crisis in reverse. Meaning we have the same tensions. So there we had Russia come and put their missiles on Cuba, and we're like, hey, that's too close to our border, get them out of here. Things got tense. We're on the brink of nuclear war. We probably would have had a nuclear war if we didn't have an American president, John F. Kennedy, that really stood up to a lot of internal pressure and de-escalated things. Well, now it's in the reverse. So now we have this this threat of NATO, and we have all of these buildups that are coming upon Russia's border. So the pressure is on Russia. Now, ask yourself this. Is Putin as stable a hand and as stable a leader as JFK? That's who we're dealing with. I'm just saying, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, let's say that all these other nations started saying, yeah, I stand for Russia and I stand for Cuba, and let's go ahead and support them. I support the missile buildup. In fact, I'm going to send some tanks. What do you think would have had that? We were like just a breath away from nuclear war. Aren't we doing that right now? Okay, enough of that. I want you to be aware of the headline. I think you should go look up some headlines. I'll try to put some links. Because if you're not aware of that, I would argue that you should be. For me, it's good to have the eyes wide open, what's happening. And as it gets relates with the farm here, to me, it's a great motivation to keep doing this. Again, not out of fear, but absolutely out of preparation. We can and we should and we need to bring what is in our control back in our control. It takes hard work and it's a little cold, but it's so worth it. You've already met Splash, and for the record, she is not a mean longhorn bull. She is the nicest little thing ever. I gotta go get some pictures of her first baby she had. She had a little bull named Heartthrob. He had a little heart right on his head. He got sold, but he's at a neighboring farm, and so we can show you some pictures of him. We are hoping that when she has her baby come March, that it's another little heifer, and we're going to double our herd. We will have 2 head of cow. So we hope to have 2 milk cows. I'll get into a little bit more of why we want to expand that to 2. All right. You've met Tico. I mean, he is just completely worth his weight in gold. He probably does have a use. I'm not trying to be mean. Meet the rabbits. I'm kind of excited to show you a little bit about this. We have a burrow system for our rabbits, and so it's really quite cool. These little houses, little huts here, have a corrugated tube that go down into an insulated cooler. And so the idea for that is that when they have their babies, it'll be warmer in the wintertime, but also cooler in the summertime. A lot of times these, especially the bucks, they actually go sterile because they get too hot. And so they have some opportunities to go down there, and also the nest can go down there, and I think we are getting a little bit more production from them because of that. I wish I had some little babies for you here shortly. I think a couple of them look pretty big. When it's warmer, I'll check to see if we have babies on the other side. I can check that on the outside, but we'll do some videos on the design of this and why I like it, and definitely do a video when we get the little babies coming out. You'll love it. All right, and lastly, I don't know if you can see the little girls back here, but they're worth their weight in gold. Oh yeah, meet the chickens. This year, I hope we are going to experiment just a little bit on trying to have them hatch their own eggs. We have a rooster now, and it takes a rooster. And so we'll see if they can hatch us out some eggs. And I'll probably do a little video on our little coop design, because I love it. I mean, it looks great. Functions fantastic. I can tell you a little bit more about how we store our food, also about how we keep the water warm, because we don't have freezing water. We have some heaters on them, and also some off-grid solutions to make sure I have power for those little heaters that we have for the water. So a lot of videos coming on that. I was going to do some more, but I'm freezing. I got to get to work. It's about 7:30 in the morning. And I think it's 4 degrees. It's been colder the last few days, but like my hand's gonna fall off. So I'm gonna just end the video. Just a reminder, if you see any value in this, will you please subscribe? The channel's growing slowly. And for me, I want to just make sure it's worth everyone's time. So if you can subscribe and tell others about it, it really helps, because right now, you know, I'm just looking to see what interest there is. So again, a couple degrees outside. We stayed above 40 in the greenhouse without any kind of electricity or power. Next year I'll baby it a little bit and I'll actually turn some power on, but I just want to make sure we can do it. Again, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, and it's kind of fun sharing some of these ideas. Oh, look who's decided to get up. I don't know. That looks like a heart to me. Is his name Heartthrob? Or show us your lightning bolt. Or lightning. I need your answer submitted immediately. Over. Do you want the cow to come here? Lightning, as in lightning bolt, or heartthrob?